Welcome to another edition of the Touchdown Club Coaches Show. Coach Masella, Max Rottenecker. Coach, a tough loss against Bryant, but a lot of fight from your team.
I was pleased with the effort of our players. I was pleased with their competitive spirit. We didn't execute in spots that cost us the game, but our kids played hard. I thought it was a heck of a football game late into the fourth quarter, and we turned the ball over 4 times, 2 times inside the 5-yard line, and really that was the difference of the game. We had a chance to tie it, late in the first half, and we fumbled going in, and then early in the fourth quarter, when we were down 2 scores, we threw a pick, in first and goal on the 2. So, it's one of those things. I appreciate the effort of our players and the way they prepared, but for us to win football games, we got to execute, and certainly we didn't do that the way we need to against a good football team.
Now, and you always talk about how close Northeast Conference football can get, and so sometimes the ball just needs to bounce your way a little bit. So how confident are you that the bounce is going to favor you sooner rather than later?
Well, I think you make your own breaks, and Saturday was a case we didn't secure the ball going into the end zone, and they made a good play, and then later on it was a read that was a pretty something that we do all the time, and we just it sounded like it was an errant pass, but you got to create your own bounces, and certainly we did early in the game. We caused a turnover on special teams. We caused a turnover on defense that led to a score. So we just didn't follow it up in the second, late in the second half, second quarter and the third quarter, and those are things that if we're going to win, we have to start to do.
Now, just out of curiosity, the fumble out of the end zone and a touchback. We talked about this in the press box on Saturday. Do you agree with the rule that it should be a touchback, or do you? Because a fumble out of bounds at the 1-yard line gives you the ball at the 1-yard line. A fumble out of the end zone.
I'm not into changing rules that have been in place for many years.
I like the Monopoly idea, where some people are like, you should just make it like the game Monopoly, where you just go back a little bit and have the ball first and 10 at the 35.
How about we secure the ball?
We secure the ball, then we don't have this.
And then we don't have this discussion, So that was, we did not have ball security on that play, and I think Ginson's going to learn that it's not over till it's over. I thought he started to celebrate, thinking that he was in the end zone, and here came a guy from the backside and hit him, and the ball's out. So, you see it all the time now, guys reaching out at the goal line, and coaches preach don't reach out at the goal line. Unless it was a 4th down play, it wasn't, so he's just got to do a better job of securing the ball. He made a great play. I mean, everything about it was a great play except the finish, so hopefully he'll learn from that, and next time we'll be celebrating, and it'll be a good thing.
And it'll be 6 points. There we go. All right, another opponent coming in, LIU. We'll be previewing the Sharks next. It's the Touchdown Club Coaches Show on NEC Front Row.
At Wagner College, we have this beautiful campus where I get to know my professors and I make great friends.
I've gotten really involved in the local community, leading theater programs. At the same time, New York City surrounds us, so I can get internships at prestigious organizations, explore cultures from all over the world,
and experience just life as a city girl.
At Wagner, I learn by doing. It's practical. It's the Wagner plan.
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor. It's tough for us to put it all on the line.
Don't undo my hard work with poor sportsmanship.
Respect. It's the name of the game.
Welcome back to the show. Time to look at next week's opponent, LIU. Long Island, traveling to Long Island, so another close game when it comes to proximity. LIU with a big win over Central Connecticut.
Sure.
What did you see on tape there?
They got after it. They ran the ball well. The quarterback played extremely well. Their defense played a great game, and they got after Central Connecticut and kind of beat them up. You're looking on them. They've played a very similar schedule to us. They've played up in 3 games. They've played Miami of Ohio, FIU, and West Virginia, and it was kind of slanted towards those Division I programs, and they've been competitive in their league games. Except I think Merrimack got away from them a little bit, but it's. I think the NEC is very, very competitive, and Duquesne gets knocked off last week, so it's a game that I think there's 2 teams that both are fighting for respect and want to win football games, and certainly it should be a great contest.
And we talk about this all the time. You just mentioned Duquesne beating Sacred Heart. Duquesne losing. Yeah, so now there's no undefeated teams left in the NEC. But that shows you how close the league really is. And sometimes, yes, the results will be 2 possessions, 3 possessions, sometimes 4 possession games. But really, on any given Saturday, any team in the conference can beat anyone.
Well, you look at it. I think scheduling takes place. Who has injuries factors in, and all these things factor in to teams winning and losing. And you look at Bryant. They've played really well in league, but they've had some breaks go their way. With certain situations as far as their opponent, but. They could possibly be undefeated as they look at the back end, and Duquesne has always been there. Sacred Heart had the devastating injury of their running back early in the season. They seem to be getting their footing, and St. Francis a week ago didn't have their quarterback, and they lose to Bryant. Not whether it would have made a difference or not, but those all factor in. You gotta have guys healthy, or you have to have enough depth to step up and have those guys play. So it's a really competitive league. I think it's if everybody's equal and everybody's healthy, it's a really, really competitive league, and certainly we've been in all our league contests. We just haven't gotten over that hill yet. So we're working on that.
And you mentioned the depth, where obviously at the FBS level you have a lot more scholarships to play with, and more players who are on full scholarships available on a weekly basis. And with that being said, obviously one injury here, one injury there can kind of derail your football team a little bit. But with that in mind, we can kind of see what you're doing as far as giving people playing time who might be on the younger side of things, and hopefully developing more people so that, sooner in 2 weeks or next season you will have a lot more experienced players on your roster.
Well, I think, you look at our season right now, we were going to be young to begin with. Then you factor in injuries, and we got really young. I think we started 14 or 15 redshirt or true freshman players on Saturday. That's not the recipe to win tight contested games. A lot of young guys are playing for us, some out of necessity, some because they're the best player we have available. You look at Luke Jacobakis Saturday, he played 25 snaps. He made an impact. He had 3 tackles. He had a fumble recovery for a 70-yard touchdown return. You look at our secondary. You look at our O-line. We started 4 out of the 5 were either freshmen or redshirt freshmen. So that was out of necessity. We're banged up there. And even at receiver, now we're getting to numbers where we've had some injuries at receiver and running back. And it is what it is. I mean, we're gaining some valuable experience. Hopefully that will help us down the road. But it's no consolation right now where you'd like to have some experienced guys stepping up in big spots. But these are the cards we've been dealt, and we got to keep building and getting better each week. And I thought I thought Saturday for the first time, I came off the field and said, you know what, we got better this week. And from a lot of standpoints, I thought our defense competed. I thought our offense was overwhelmed a little bit with their defensive guys, but they competed. And, I thought for the first time I saw a team that starts to understand what it's going to take to win football games. And I told our team that. I said, if you go in with that approach each and every week, we're going to get better, and we're going to start to win our fair share of games.
And it sounded like last week you changed the style of practice up a little bit, going more towards walkthroughs, and is that something that you're going to continue throughout the season?
Yeah, I think I look back at us, and I probably should have started that sooner. It's a model that I've used at different places, and I think our kids learn better by doing. And so I've cut down our meetings and added walkthroughs where our kids can go out there. And every student athlete learns differently. I just look at the vast majority of our athletes, and I think we're better served being on the field and giving them, realistic pictures where they're in the picture and can start to understand what we're trying to do. So, I've done that at different places, and I told our coaches, listen, we're making a lot of mistakes over and over again. So obviously the film isn't working, and you getting on the blackboard isn't working. Let's go out and clean those things up and keep improving by walking through. It's kind of an NBA model, when you look at it. But I thought it helped us Saturday, and hopefully it will help us the rest of the season.
All right, thank you. Another opportunity on Saturday at LIU. We're going to take another break. It's the Touchdown Club Coaches Show on NEC Front Row. Welcome back to the show. Obviously, earlier today we talked about Luke Jakubauskas, who's going to be an NEC Prime Performer this week. For his performance, scored a touchdown. He's from Staten Island. You're from Staten Island. So since you've taken over, obviously an influx of Staten Island and New York City overall, New York City football players coming into the program, is that something that you prioritize in the recruiting process? And is that... and does that show the quality of New York City football overall?
I think anybody who goes, is running a program and recruiting has to take care of their backyard. There's good football in New York City. You have to kind of search and hunt and peck and find those kids. But there's a lot of good football being played in New York City. So, we have kids from all 5 boroughs in Long Island. So, it's one way. If you look at our roster, you have Tim Barrow from Staten Island. You have Luke from Staten Island. You have Mike Jones from Staten Island. You have Titus Leo from Brooklyn. You have Jaden Barrett is from the Bronx, and Nick Gadsden is from White Plains. And I can go on and on. I look at it, and it's one of those things. I believe for us that's good because it draws interest from a lot of people, and hopefully, eventually those guys are going to turn out to be really good football players and part of something that will lead to an NEC championship. But, you know, everybody talks about recruiting their backyard. I truly believe it. New York City has good football. You know, hopefully a lot of kids from Staten Island will start to look at Wagner as an option as opposed to getting away. And if they do go away and they find they want to come home, you know, we have a knowledge of them, and they know who we are and what we're all about. So I understand kids will leave, but you know, we may get some of those kids on the rebound in this day and age with the transfer portal, and certainly we want to make sure we know everything about those guys.
Now, guys, like when Chris Williams made the Colts 53-man roster, it was a big story how he only had one offer, and you just mentioned you have to find those guys a little bit. How much does it help to have, obviously yourself, but also Coach Munson, who's a legend on Staten Island, has been around.
He's a legend in New York City.
He's a legend in all 5 boroughs. But how much does it help to have so much knowledge of the 5 boroughs and football in New York City when you hit the recruiting trail?
Well, for us, it's a little easier in the sense that you know, we know how to get around in New York City. There, you know, where to park, how to get around. You know, because it's quite frankly, if you talk to a lot of coaches who aren't from the area or haven't recruited in a long time, it becomes frustrating. And I've recruited New York City every stop, whether I was an assistant or a head coach, and you know, it just makes it a little easier for me to understand traffic patterns, for me to get in and out of a high school and know what's expected when you walk into that high school and where to go, and certainly you know, there's a little less, I guess, frank frustration or anxiousness that you got to get to so many schools. I think you know, that's part of it, and Jimmy's done a great job in the city, and you know, between the two of us, we have a pretty good understanding of New York City football, Long Island football, and Westchester. So you know, I think that's made it a little easier for us, but I'm sure, you know, you got to go dig, you got to work at it, and in New York you got to find kids that maybe are just flat out being overlooked, and because of the situation of inner city football. And certainly Jimmy's done a great job with that, and guys in the past here have done a great job with that. So we're going to continue that.
Now, you know where to park. You also know where to eat after you go in those areas, and we got another road game coming up. Is there another Long Island special coming up this Saturday for the post-game meal?
You know, no, the Fordham post-game meal, although it was tough to eat, the food was good. But no, I you know, it's been a long time since I've lived out in Long Island. I lived out there when I coached at the Merchant Marine Academy. No, we're going to have to rely on some friends and give a call. Or maybe we'll send somebody to bring food.
So I guess if you're in the Touchdown Club and you're watching this, let's send us some suggestions, you know, for the post-game meal on Saturday.
So, so that's you know, that's always good too. That we can give some local businesses some of our business to help them in this time.
I love it. Well, great insight. Thank you, Coach. Thank you all for tuning in. This has been the Touchdown Club Coaches Show on NEC Front Row.